So here we're gonna start with the story of Mary Magdalene first of all, because she was the first that became the first evangelist to preach about the resurrection of Yeshua the Christ. Okay. He revealed himself to her after he resurrected and told her to go and tell the others the good news. She was the first one to see him. It wasn't Paul or whoever else they tried to say that it was. It was Mary. All right, first and foremost. So, Mary Magdalene, Mary Magdalene was not the broken woman so many was taught that she was, or to see her as. She was a powerful awakened soul who walked closely with Christ consciousness itself. Please do have your spiritual eye open and your spiritual ears open to be able to actually get the message that is within this whole story here, because this is not surface level. This is metaphysical level, okay? Beyond the physical, beyond human understanding. So I'm going to need y'all to, open it up. Tap in real quick. Okay. Anyways, Mary Magdalene was not a broken woman that so many was taught that she was. She was a powerful awakened soul who walked closely with Christ consciousness itself. She was one of the women who truly understood the teachings of Jesus, not just through words, but through vibration, energy, and heart. When Jesus healed her and freed her from the old energy that once held her bound, she became a vessel of divine transformation. From that moment, she walked as a light carrier, not behind him, but with him. She traveled with Jesus and the disciples, serving in ministry, sharing wisdom, compassion, and presence. Mary Magdalene embodied the divine feminine Christ, the inner healer, the nurturer, the spiritual teacher, who carries deep intuitive knowing. She was grounded, compassionate, and fully present to the spiritual mission unfolding before her eyes. She wasn't a bystander. She was part of the sacred work. When Yeshua was crucified, she remained. When others hid, she stood at the foot of the cross in love, holding space. The way only a heart awakened to divine truth can. She was there when his body was laid in the tomb, and she was the first to return early that morning when it was still dark, drawn by her love and faith. In that sacred moment at the tomb, she encountered the risen Christ. At first, she didn't recognize him because resurrection is transformation. But when he spoke her name, Mary, her spirit recognized the vibration of truth. That is how awakening happens, through remembrance. One day you just wake up for some. Some, they seek it and they wake up that way. They are looking for something, so they end up waking up. And for some, they just you might be living your regular egoic human life, and then all of a sudden one day you wake up to remembrance, the light within. Jesus then gave her the sacred commission to go and tell the others that he was alive, that life, spirit, and consciousness cannot die. And she said she became the first messenger. Oh, and she did, my bad. And she did. She became the first messenger of the resurrection, the first to proclaim that divine life transcends physical death. Mary Magdalene was not just the first to see the risen Christ, she was the first to embody the truth of resurrection, that we are all spirit, eternal, and one with God. She represents divine love in motion, divine wisdom awakened within the feminine. She reminds us that spiritual authority is not given by men. It is recognized by God within the soul. It's recognized within the soul, not by men. Talking about physical, masculine form. It's not by that. It is by God itself within the soul. God within. Okay. Her story teaches that When the heart is open and aligned with spirit, revelation follows. Mary Magdalene's voice echoes through time as a call for all souls, women and men, to rise in divine remembrance, to speak truth, to walk in love, and to embody the Christ light within. Let's see. So when Jesus healed Mary Magdalene, it wasn't just a physical or emotional release. It was a vibrational realignment. It represents the moment that our soul awakens from fear, shame, and separation, and remembers its divine origin. In metaphysical terms, the demons that left her symbolize limiting beliefs, generational wounds, and lower frequencies that once held her from her true self. When love and truth entered her consciousness, she became free, embodying divine feminine wholeness. And so the lesson in this is healing happens when light enters the mind and heart at once. We are restored to our original divine vibration. If the whole body, with the eye be single, the whole body shall be filled with light. Allow your eye to be single. Walk by faith and not by sight. Do not pay attention or worry about what is happening on the outside in the physical. What matters the most is what's inside, the spiritual. Walk beside Christ. Mary walking with Jesus represents the sacred union of energies, the balance of divine masculine, Christ consciousness, wisdom, action, and divine feminine, Magdalene consciousness, intuition, compassion, embodiment. Together they mirror the inner balance we all must reach, the harmony between thinking and feeling, doing and being, heaven and earth. Spiritual mastery comes when divine masculine and feminine are united within, intellect guided by intuition, and power guided by love. When Mary stood at the cross, she witnessed the symbolic death of the ego, the human self surrendering completely to divine will. While others fled in fear, she remained in stillness, representing divine compassion in the face of transformation. This is what it means to stand at the cross within ourselves. It's standing at the crossroads, basically. The crossroads. Didn't I just make a post about the crossroads on TikTok? Come on now. That is standing at the cross within ourselves, to hold space as parts of us die so that something greater can be born. Lesson here is that the soul that can remain loving in the face of pain has entered sacred maturity. Woo! Wow, that's me. That's a lot of us. The tomb, which is the womb of transformation. When Mary went to the tomb, it was not just a physical place, it was a symbolic womb of rebirth. The tomb represents the space between endings and beginnings, where silence and stillness transforms us. Many people avoid this space because it feels like loss or uncertainty. But this is where spirit does its deepest work. Mary entering the tomb symbolizes entering the inner chamber of the heart where divine rebirth begins. Transformation happens in stillness. Death and resurrection are inner processes, cycles of shedding and renewal. When Mary encountered the risen Christ, it symbolizes the moment of realization. When divine truth is seen with spiritual eyes, she did not recognize him at first because resurrection shifts vibration. The old perception cannot see the new reality until the heart is awakened. When he spoke her name, her spirit remembered. That recognition represents the soul hearing the voice of God within, the call to awaken. True resurrection happens when the soul remembers who it is, eternal light and one with the divine. Jesus told Mary to go and tell, symbolizing the soul's call to serve after awakening. Once we experience divine revelation, we are no longer just receivers of truth, we become messengers of it. Mary became the first to preach the risen Christ, meaning she embodied and shared the truth that spirit cannot die. She is the first light bearer of the new consciousness. Lesson: when you have encountered divine truth within yourself, your purpose becomes to share it. Not to convert, but to awaken others. Mary's energy lives on in every soul who chooses love over fear, faith over doubt, and truth over illusion. Her story is a mirror for our own spiritual journey, from woundedness to healing, from shadow to light, from separation to unity. She represents the divine feminine rising, the rebirth of compassion, intuition, balance, sacred leadership on earth. Mary Magdalene is not just a figure of the past. She is an archetype of the awakened soul, guiding humanity back to divine remembrance. To embody the Magdalene frequency is to live from the heart, to lead through love, and to awaken others by your presence. So when there's some of us that we talk about, we get so tired of like trying to heal everybody. I was just talking about this the other day with my cousin. Okay. Sometimes I have picked up on some energy, and like I got to do a little bit of energy work on myself, but I have picked up on some energy and it's like making me feel like I do not want to freaking teach or heal people anymore, because it's like it's exhausting and it's just draining and all of that. And it's because there are probably energies that are around that are like monitoring spirits. They're energy vampires. And it's like things are just sucking the energy and just like are just very attracted to our light, that when we come in contact with them, it freaking takes from us and stuff, whether unconsciously or subconsciously. And sometimes we might feel that. And sometimes we might have just picked up energy from other people outside in the world because we are empaths. And so we might picked up energy from other people that's not even our energy or whatever. But basically what I'm getting at is that you have to, like, when we talk about healing people, healing is no, like we think of healing someone where we have to be with them physically and we have to touch them physically and we have to do all these things physically and we have to do all these things by thinking with our minds all the time just to try to heal somebody, or be like I really want to heal this person, or I really want to help you heal, I really want to do this. And because that's being on your mind all the time, and it's like you're thinking of it, like I can't think of the word right now, but it's like you're thinking about healing the person instead of allowing the healing to happen just naturally with just you just being there. Like you don't have to like actually directly do something to somebody like to heal them like all the time. Like you don't, like sometimes, like, okay, we was just talking about like when it comes to people that we care about and stuff that we're really close to, we really want to heal them so much, and we're focused on wanting to heal them that we don't realize that just being around them and stuff can be healing enough for them. Like just our presence is going to be healing for them and everything, because just us being around, the things that we do and the way that we speak and talk and stuff like that, they see that, they hear that. And so for them, sometimes that is healing for them in its own way and everything. But sometimes, of course, ego creeps up and everything, and it's just a lot. It's a lot that comes with it. And so, and that just goes with everybody. Like, instead of always just focusing on thinking about what it is that you want to do for somebody and everything, where it's like it's kind of given off of like a forcing kind of, instead of just thinking about it, just allow stuff to happen naturally, people. Like, just your presence alone and stuff, if you are really like in tune like that, if you are really embodied, your presence alone is healing. Your presence alone is just great. But real quick, I wanted to throw some extra scriptures in here too I also came across. Now, like, I was doing a response video to that one pastor. He was talking about how women are not supposed to be preachers, and talking about, show me one scripture in the Bible that shows women preachers. And well, I gave him 12. So anyways, it also says in Joel chapter 2 verse 28 to 29, and Acts chapter 2 verse 17 to 18, God said himself, your sons and daughters shall prophesy. Daughters. So once again, yes, there were female preachers. In Micah 6:4, God sent Moses, Aaron, and Miriam to guide his people. Paul himself, even though he spoke against the other females preaching or speaking in the church at the time, remember, that was only at a specific context. That was only for a specific group of people, because those specific groups of people, they was being dishonoring in the church. That's why he was saying that. But he definitely acknowledged other women preachers that was actually in their divinity, that was actually in tune with themselves, that with their Christ self, and he allowed them to preach. He called Priscilla and Apollos helpers in Christ. So he acknowledged women preachers. And this is in Acts 18:26. So that whole spiel that the guy was doing, you better do some more research and probably meditate and pray a little bit more on that, because you really got that message wrong, hun. I'm sorry, you did. I'm sorry to tell you. And I don't know, maybe your ego, I don't know if your ego very big. If you seeing this, like, I don't know if your ego is that big to be like, whatever, you not hearing nothing that I'm saying. Well, all I can say is go read it for yourself. It's right there in the Bible. You asked for it, go read it. I gave you the scriptures, go read it. And I'm going to tell you myself, oh yeah, baby, I was ordained by God. I didn't become a minister just by chance. I didn't become a minister because I went to church and I wanted to become a minister. I never thought of becoming a minister of any kind. I don't know. I didn't even know what metaphysics was. I didn't know what a metaphysical minister was until I actually went to school with it. I got my degree and everything, and it opened up so much understanding and overstanding. Like, I see the whole entire world a whole different now. And I understand everything. And I know how to interpret Jesus' words and what he was teaching, how he was teaching it. Because when you look at it and you pay attention, and then you pay attention to the things around you, you see how everything is a mirror. And everything that was in that Bible that Jesus said and that Jesus taught is everything that's going on right now in this world. When it comes to the spiritual people waking up, the true spiritual people waking up, okay, you got religious people out here calling us blasphemy, calling us saying that what the works that we be doing is evil. But guess what? All the works that we be doing is the same works that Christ did, and Christ said that you can do all the works that I can do as well, and you will do even greater ones than I. So that's exactly what he said. And he also spoke against the religious peoples, which was the Pharisees at that time, because they were presenting themselves as such, but their word was not true. So yeah, I think you're just gonna have to go back and kind of reread your scriptures a little bit and stuff, and get a little bit more insight. This time when you go back and read it, make sure that your single eye is open and you're filled with the entire light, so that your whole body can be filled with light and you can be able to interpret the messages a little bit better. Either way, I mean, I know it's okay to understand, to misunderstand. I love you though. Peace.